In honor of Asian Heritage Month, I figured why not platinum a game that pays homage to the way of the samurai and to Kurosawa movies from the 60s with a whole vignette mode just for it. And if all of that didn't give away the game I'm talking about, then it's time to tell you that I'll be getting the platinum in Ghost of Tsushima, being released July 17, 2020 and getting Director's Cut with an added DLC August 20th, 2021, and according to PSN profiles has a difficulty of a 3 out of 10 and takes roughly 50 hours to beat, but only requiring one playthrough. But as a forewarning, I did not 100% the entirety of the trophy list. I only did the main game, but I do plan to get the rest of the trophies, so be on the lookout for that. But with that out of the way, it's time to mount my horse and follow the guiding winds to free the island from the Mongol hordes.
The Mongol Empire is invading our home. They are brutal, relentless, unstoppable. We are 80 samurai against an army, fighting to slow the invasion. Today, I die for my people. There must be thousands of them.
We will face death and defend our home.
Tradition, courage, honor. They are what make us. We are the warriors of Tsushima. We are samurai! Oh! Nodadachi, go break their spirits. Hey! Outsiders! Send your finest warrior to face me! Nada, Jinnida. I am Harunobu Adachi, descendant of the legendary Yoshinobu Adachi. Samurai! Do you surrender? Cowards without honor deserve no mercy. No mercy! Fire! For Tsushima! With me.
I let that scene play out to show you what I'll be getting into as I take the reins of Jin Sakai, who is obviously the protagonist of the story, and also the nephew of Lord Shimura, and following Shimura down the beach, I slice my way through Mongols to make my way to Khoton Khan, the leader who we saw set a samurai on fire earlier. Before we both are able to make it to him, an explosion from fire arrows knocks me unconscious. I wake up at a makeshift camp and then make my way down the cliffside to search for my katana and armor, and after finding my armor and proceeding to the exit of the house, I am pushed back inside by Yuna, who is the one who patched me up after the beach battle. I follow Yuna sneaking throughout the village that is being sacked by the Mongols to make my way to the location of my katana, where after that I make it to the stables and choose a horse which I name Kage, then ride off with Yuna popping my first trophy of the game. We make it to Castle Kaneda and I walk in and have my first standoff of the game, which later in the story doing these standoffs will allow me to gain this trophy. And after a duel which, fun fact, is unwinnable, I am thrown off the bridge. After washing up on the beach, I follow the guiding wind, which is the game's compass mechanic, which is honestly very well done and doesn't break the immersion of the game, and the world itself in my opinion. And after following the wind, it leads me to Yuna and my horse.
What happened?
I found Lord Shimura. I could have saved him, but the Khan was there. I failed my uncle.
At least you're in one piece.
I swore to protect this island with my life. But now the Mongols have stolen our home, killed our samurai.
You forgot what it's like to fight someone stronger than you. To feel weak. Sometimes when you're staring death in the face, you have to do whatever it takes to survive.
The Khan expects to fight a war against the samurai. He will anticipate our every move, unless we find new ways to surprise him. That's how we'll save Lord Shimura and retake our home.
We'll need some help.
After avoiding the Mongols that showed up, I continue my talk with Yuna and say that I need to find allies to help free Shimura, and Yuna says that a brother can also help. And with that discussion over, me and Yuna ride off our separate ways for the time being, and we finally get the title card. And with that title card, I also get access to the map and have to choose where to head next. And I choose to go meet back up with Yuna. And after she leads the way to a Mongol prison camp in hopes of finding her brother, she convinces me to start to break my code of honor and kill a Mongol from behind. After that, I infiltrate the camp proper, and the only person I find is an ex-Straw Hat Ronin. After offering him work, he declines but says the other Straw Hats may be more inclined, and once we reach the riverside, he says that he heard the Mongols talking about moving the other captives to Osmo Bay. And at the final talk with Yuna, where she says that she will leave once we rescue Taka, I pop another trophy. Next on my list of recruitment is Sensei Ishikawa, and in order to find him, I head to his dojo that overlooks a hot spring inn. Once I arrive, I find the place that has been torn apart, and there is blood on the mats, and after following the bloody footprints, I find Ishikawa bow drawn, ready to shoot. After realizing it's me, he loosens his bow, and we start to have a chat, where he says he can't help me rescue Lord Shimura because a student is missing. So obviously, I offer my assistance. After following remnants of the Mongols, I make my way to a fort, and while using the new bow that Ishikawa gave, I rain down arrows on the Mongols and then take the fort, where after investigating, I find scrolls and arrows making both me and Ishikawa believe that instead of being a captive, Tomoe is teaching the Mongols the way of the bow, and after finding all the evidence, Ishikawa admits that it was Tomoe that attacked him at the dojo, and that he plans to kill her to restore his honor, and I agree to help him, but he also says I should find Lady Masuko so that she can help with rescuing Shimura. Before finding Masuko, I decide to try to find the Straw Hat Ronin to bring them into my ranks, and while searching for them, I find a cart on fire and Mongol bodies on the path, and while following it, I end up meeting Ryuzo, who was apparently the leader of the Straw Hat Ronin, and I offer him a deal, that if him and his men help me rescue Lord Shimura, then they will get money as well as food. But before we can come to an agreement, we are ambushed by Mongols. After fighting them off though, Ryuzo leads me to the Straw Hat camp, where I tell them a plan of raiding a Mongol fort to secure the food they have there. Before taking on the task of assaulting a fort, I decided it was time to go find Lady Masuko, so I head to the Adachi estate. However, once I enter one of the buildings, I only find bloodstains and weapons strewn about, so I start to investigate. After following some footprints, I find a dead horse and am greeted by an arrow that was shot from just the person I was looking for. And as I talk to her to try to get her to have her clan join in the offensive to save Shimura, she says that the Adachi clan is dead, massacred by fellow clansmen, and just like with Ishikawa, I agree to help her with her goal. After riding with Masuko to a temple, we find a monk named Sogen and begin to tail him, and after he reaches his destination, I take out the bandits, and once confronting Sogen, Masuko cuts him down. After walking out of the house, Masuko finds a crest she has never seen before, and I vow to help her get her revenge as long as she helps me save Shimura. The following night, I meet with Ryuzo to begin the siege on the fort, and after killing the last of the Mongols, we both notice that there is no food anywhere nearby, but we realize that they took it to their boats to take it offshore, and then devise a plan to attack the port. But after taking the boat, more Mongols show up and proceed to set the boat on fire, so both me and Ryuzo jump overboard. And after making it back to the shore, I get Ryuzo to agree to help me take Castle Kaneda.
I'll need you at Castle Kaneda.
After I agree to give him Mongol battle plans we found on the boat that show other food supplies, and with that interaction done, I pop another trophy. With the Straw Hat Alliance garnered, I decide to meet back up with Yuna and meet her friend Kenji, who has the idea of smuggling me into Osmo Bay to hopefully find Taka. And after tailing a Mongol through the entirety of the bay, I am led to Taka, and as the Mongol is about to attack Taka, Yuna slices his throat with a katana. And once we get into safety, I tell Yuna I will meet them at the Komatsu Forge, and then I pop another trophy. I make my way to Komatsu Forge and with the help of Yuna, clear out the Mongol threat while also popping a trophy. And after fending off the last waves of Mongols, Yuna then proceeds to build a legend of me, calling me a vengeful spirit. A few days later, I head back to Komatsu and start a conversation with Yuna, where she informs me that the people of Tsushima are starting to refer to me as the Ghost. We both then head to the forge where Taka gives me the item I had commissioned from him, an iron grappling hook. And as soon as I am handed that, Ryuzu shows up and says that the Mongols have captured some of his best fighters, and we have to go rescue them. Like usual, I make it to the Mongol camp, and while freeing the Ronin, I also clear the camp of its occupants. And after clearing the camp, Ryuzu brings up concerns about how his men said that the Mongols were treating his men with respect, and it didn't make any sense. The time has come for me to assemble my allies and attack Castle Kaneda to free Lord Shimura. But as I converse with my allies, the topic of the Straw Hats not being present is brought up, but I say we have to just proceed without them. After breaching the castle and making my way into the inner portions, I run into Ryuzo, who has chosen to accept the Khan's bounty on the ghost, and so the two of us have a duel. After injuring him and trying to talk him down, he gives away my position to the remaining Mongols in the castle. I make my way to the top and defeat the last few guards, then free Shimura. We both then leave the main castle and fight our way down and meet up with my allies. Then after finishing the final wave of Mongols, I pop a trophy.
You have an impressive home. Won't you welcome me inside? Your people are tired, hungry, cold. Open the gate and save them!
You promised food for my men.
Earn it. No. Open the gate! Open the gate! Open the gate! Open the gate!
I then ride out with Shimura to a lighthouse, and once igniting it, serves as a warning to the Khan that we are coming to take back Castle Shimura next. And through returning from the lighthouse, I meet Norio, a warrior monk who, like Ishikawa and Moscow, has a trophy tied to him in his questline. With the area of Toyotama mine to explore now, I continue forward to Mugi Cove, where once arriving, I pop a trophy. And then meet Lady Sanjo to ask her about a smuggler named Goro, who turns out is right below Sanjo. And when I started the conversation, I tell him that it's time for him to repay his debt to Shimura. And so I follow him to a house where he gives me a map leading to a smuggling boat. I meet Shimura at his hunting camp to inform him that we found Goro and he is ready and willing to repay his debt, and so we hop on our horses and head to a Mongol-controlled fort to draw attention to us instead of Goro, who will be setting sail. After clearing the fort, however, we see that the bay is full of Mongol ships, and Goro's going to have a hard time getting out, or at least that is until I use my newly acquired Hwacha to destroy the ships from a distance, securing Goro's escape. Next on the list in Toyotama is meeting up with Yuna to recruit the remnants of Yarikawa, but their last stronghold is surrounded by Mongols. After taking a hidden entrance in the stronghold, I am met by some Yarikawa samurai, and after proving my identity, thanks to Yuna, I am brought to the gate where a Mongol general is addressing the fort. And after listening to him, I go and talk to the Yarikawa leader, Fujimasa, and say I can offer him the help with his Mongol problem in return for his alliance. But he refuses, so after meeting up with Taka, he tells me about some archers that left to fight the Mongols, so I leave to go and track them. I manage to track the archers and meet up with them as they overlook a Mongol camp, and I then help them ambush the Mongols using fire arrows and explosives, and with that going extraordinarily well, I'm able to get the archers to return to Yarikawa's stronghold. I get there a little bit later and have a heart-to-heart with Yuna, but that is broken up when the Mongols decide to attack the gate, and after pushing through the first wave and disabling their siege weapons, I make it back to the keep and challenge the Mongol general. And after defeating him, I slice his head off, then butcher 3 other Mongols while the rest run scared. I shoot one down with an arrow and pop a trophy. And with that final push, the Mongols are driven from Arikara, and the people of the stronghold pledge their allegiance. And with that done, I also pop another trophy.
Your friend defeated one of my best generals. My men have started to believe he's invincible. You will prove them wrong.
I don't care about the reward for Jin's head.
Have you stopped caring for your loyal Straw Hats?
Jin is the best swordsman on the island. My men can't kill him.
There are many ways to eliminate a foe. Find another.
What if we didn't have to kill him?
I decide to head home to retrieve my father's armor, but it isn't on the stand. But I do meet Yuriko, and she tells me that she hid the armor after following her. I don the armor of the clan Sakai, and doing some more Mongol extermination, Yuriko hooks me up with a blowgun and some poison darts to add to my arsenal. And they're testing out its potency. I pop a trophy. I head back to Lord Shimura since all the necessary preparations are complete for our siege to retake his castle. And during our talk, he tells me that Ryuzo and his men are going to attack our flank, and that he is based in Fort Koyasan. So I say that I will deal with him, and so I head off. After making it to the fort, I find that Taka had followed me, so I allow him to help. And after infiltrating the fort, I find Ryuzo. But as we talk, I am knocked out from behind, and after waking up, this happens.
Taka, be brave.
You must be thirsty. Arek. Milk from my favorite horse. The final gift to me. She broke her egg yesterday, so I fed her to my men. We do what we must, Lord Sakai. That is why you and I are both survivors.
I am samurai.
No, you are more than that. You are the ghost. Convince your people to join me, and I will give them peace.
We will never serve you.
Your uncle said the same thing when I asked him to end this war.
He refused to be your slave.
I too have pride in family. And I know what it's like to live in their shadow. Why should we settle for scraps when we deserve to be legends?
He is a legend.
See? Your people will follow you. Join me and save them.
You want to divide and conquer. You did it to Ryuzo. Not us.
Oh. Your legend does not even care about you. If you kill him, you can go.
Run.
Stop! Tell you that!
Your friend died for you. Now I must find another. And you must choose again.
I free myself from my restraints and start slaughtering the Straw Hats that are in the fort, and as I reach the gate, Yuna shows up and I inform her about Taka's fate. After getting rid of the last wave of Mongols and Ronin, we both go and bury Taka on a cliffside overlooking the ocean, and they're telling Yuna that Taka was brave until the end. I pop a trophy. The reinforcements that Goro was sent to recruit have arrived, and I ride with one of the generals to go and meet with Shimura.
You have done well, Jin. We now have everyone we need to reclaim my castle.
I dealt with the Straw Hats. But Ryuzo escaped with the Khan. They wanted me to betray you.
You spoke to the Khan?
I was captured.
If I'd known, I would have marched my entire army to save you.
Yuna helped me escape. But her brother, he died with honor.
The Khan will pay for his sacrifice. And for all you've endured. Jin, the Shogun formally supports my decision to adopt you. When our island is saved, you will be heir to Clan Shimura. Not as a ghost, but as a samurai.
I won't disappoint you, Uncle.
Today we ride into battle as Sakai and Shimura. Tomorrow we celebrate victory as father and son.
Samurai pride themselves on their honor code. But it also makes them rigid, predictable, easy to break. Ghost has no limits. This makes him dangerous.
And with all that said and done, the siege on Castle Shimura begins. However, during the siege, Lord Shimura sees me kill some Mongols using ghost techniques and says that I should face the enemy with honor, and they're making it to the bridge towards the inner part of the castle. The Khan uses explosive forces to blow it up. After regrouping to plan what to do next, I tell Shimura that instead of sending more soldiers to die, I could just sneak in and poison the Mongols, which he's against, but I still go along with my plan by having Yuna and my allies gather as much wolf's bane as possible. And they're sneaking in, I poison the food supply, causing all of them to drop dead after ingesting it. And after entering the main keep, instead of the Khan, I find Ryuzo, who told me that Koten rode further north, and with us not being able to come to terms, we have a second and final duel. After bringing him to his knees, I finish him off. Lord Shimura shows up furious that I defied his orders and asks for me to tell the soldiers around that I am loyal servant of him and the Shogun, but instead I say that I am the ghost. And with that declaration, I pop another trophy. I am put into a holding cell, and while waiting for judgment, Kenji shows up to break me out, saying that Yuna and the people are waiting for the ghost, and so I steal my horse and flee the fort. But unfortunately, during my escape, Kage, my horse, takes multiple arrows and dies on the way to the village I was going to meet Yuna at. And after arriving at the meeting spot, I only find bodies, but as I check them, I take a poison arrow to the shoulder, then pass out. But wake up soon after with Yuna again looking over and tending to me. And once I get situated, she has me take a look at a pagoda that can be a good base for us and our allies. So me and Yuna ride off to the pagoda to find that it is under control by Mongols, so I of course have to clean house. After securing the temple, I get the final upgrade for my katana, popping a trophy. Then talking to Yuna, she tells me of a group of hunters led by a man named Takeshi, so that is my next stop. Once arriving, I meet Takeshi, who says he is ready to fight but is unsure of his men, but I offered them all a place to stay till the spring and he readily agrees, and with him and his men I raid Kaminodake along with the help of my other allies who arrive later. And with the fort cleansed and taken of any useful supplies, I pop a trophy. Consulting with Yuna, we both head to Port Izumi to try to get a lay of the land. Once reaching the lighthouse overlooking the port, we find a bunch of barrels of wolfsbane poison, and also see that the Khan and his men are almost ready to sail for the mainland. With that information gathered, I return back to the temple a few days later to ask Yuna how our plans are progressing. She says Kenji has found out where we can steal Mongol watches, but I also say that we should try to get Shimura's help. But so that I can avoid being put into prison, I just write a note and leave it in his quarters. So I begin to set out with Yuna, but not before claiming a new horse to replace the legend that was Kage, and I named the new horse Sora. And no, not that one. But I will get to this eventually. But with that out of the way, I make it to Castle Shimura, and after sneaking my way through, leave my message for the Lord. Now with everything possible in place, I gather my allies and make my way for my final assault on Kolten Khan and his forces, before he can head to the mainland. And after clearing through the first wave of Mongols, my allies head to the hills to regroup with Norio and his warrior monks. And at the same time that we make it there, Lord Shimura arrives with his own forces, and after making it down to the port, I'm able to finally confront the Khan and begin our duel. And after he escapes to his boat, I defeat his last few soldiers and finally end Kolten's reign of terror. The battle done, me and Yuna return to Jokaku and find that Shimura sent a messenger telling me to meet him, and so I head out to do just that, but not before popping a trophy.
Jin,
Uncle,
I wasn't sure you would come.
I wanted to talk with you. If we work together, we can drive off the remaining Mongols, start rebuilding our home.
That is not your duty. The Shogun has disbanded Clan Sakai. As of today, you are no longer samurai.
I sacrificed everything for my people. And I would do it again.
New samurai are coming to replace those we lost. They will occupy your land and estate.
I have to say goodbye to my home.
Ride with me.
I will miss this.
So will I. The Shogun has declared you a traitor.
He ordered you to kill me.
The Ghost was an outlaw. He taught our people to defy their leaders.
To defend themselves.
With poison, a gift you gave to our enemy.
I had to stop you from throwing away our people's lives.
You have no honor.
And you are a slave to it.
You are my son. Now I must continue the line of Shimura without you. I must start a new family.
And my head is the cost.
Taking it is my punishment. Our final day together. It is beautiful. It's time. Write the last words of Clan Sakai.
And Clan Shimura.
And with the emotions put away, I begin my duel with Shimura, and this duel is the most emotional fight in the entire game because it is simply two people who consider each other family fighting because of their own morals and how they perceive their own form of justice. And after defeating Shimura, instead of killing him, I chose to spare him and just walk away, fully embracing the role and title of Ghost of Tsushima, and also pop the final story trophy. Obviously, through my travels of Tsushima, I popped trophies in all 3 different regions, and this is where we're going to go through those. Some were done in between the story and others were done after, but they were all obtained, and now it's time to go through them. Lost and Found for discovering a Pillar of Honor and collecting its sword kit. Have a Nice Fall for killing an enemy with fall damage by knocking them off a ledge. Quick Study for learning the Stone, Water, Wind, and Moon combat stances. Hero of the People for liberating 12 occupied areas in Izuhara. A Fight for the Isle for liberating all occupied areas in Izuhara. Every Trick in the Book for acquiring all the throwable ghost weapon techniques. The Headstrong Thief for completing all of Eunice Tales. Flash of Steel for defeating 20 enemies with a counterattack after a perfect parry. Haunting Precision for killing 20 enemies with ghost stand strikes. Slay for acquiring 30 pieces of vanity gear. Gifted for collecting 10 gifts, All in the Wrist for defeating the maximum amount of enemies within a single standoff, a Charming Man for equipping a charm in all 6 slots, Monochrome Masters for purchasing an item from the black and white dye merchants, Good Riddance for liberating 8 occupied areas in Toyotama, Know Your Enemy for collecting 20 Mongol artifacts, Securing Sanctuary for liberating all occupied areas in Toyotama, Mass Eviction for liberating 7 occupied areas in Kamiagata, a new safe haven for liberating all occupied areas in Kamiagata, Master Liberator for liberating the entirety of Tsushima Island, Avid Reader for collecting 20 records, Dirge of the Fallen Forge for playing the Lament of the Storm at a friend's grave, Light the Way for rekindling all the lighthouses in Tsushima, Favor of the Kami for finding and honoring all the Shinto shrines in Tsushima, Body, Mind, and Spirit for completing all Hot Springs, Haiku, Inari shrines, and Bamboo Strikes, the Vengeful Warrior for completing all of Masuko's tales, the Warrior Monk for completing all of Norio's tales, the Unbending Archer for completing all of Ishikawa's tales, the Ghost of Legend for building your legend up to earn the title of Ghost of Tsushima, Teller of Tales for completing all the Mythic tales, There Can Only Be One for successfully completing every duel, Helping Swordhand for completing all tales of Tsushima, Honor the Unseen for bowing to 10 hidden altars across Tsushima, Cooper Clan Cosplayer for dressing up as a legendary thief, A Moment in Time for personalizing a scene in photo mode, and finally, the Platinum. And with the Platinum gain, it's time for my final thoughts. And I must say, this game was great, but also Sucker Punch has never let me down when it came to their releases, and that trend has continued with this one. And now with it in the trophy case, I think it's time to plug the sequel into the console and embark on yet another journey guided by the wind and stained with blood.